The Seahawks are getting ready for the regular season, and head coach Mike Macdonald made the starting O-line official yesterday. I think we all had a pretty clear idea of what it was going to be, but here he is announcing the official starters for that O-line.
We have made a decision on our offensive line. So Abel started right tackle, Anthony Bradford started right guard, Jalen right now was our starting center, Gray's obviously at left tackle, and Charles Cross at left tackle, or left guard and left tackle, respectively. So, as you know, nothing's set in stone, but those guys have done a great job. Olu's done a phenomenal job. He's ready to go if anything happened, but that's the crew that we'll start the season with.
Yeah, that was kind of my vote going in. I like Jalen Sundell based on what I heard. I didn't obviously see a lot of his play, but to be a center, you got to be really sharp. You got to be on top of things, and that's the thing about him. He's really smart. Kind of remind me a little bit of Joey Hunt. Joey Hunt.
You loved Joey Hunt. I remember that.
He was the smartest football player on the team.
Yeah, I mean, he was so small for that spot.
No, he was tiny, and then he could play tackle. He could play guard. I mean, it didn't matter where you put him on the line. And
what do you think his most memorable play was?
Who?
Joey Hunt.
Oh, is there something that...
Didn't he get trucked by the 49ers?
Oh, yeah. It was a Monday night game.
He got put on his back.
Well, and look, that's exactly what I would have done. I mean, and, it was like, okay, we're going to set the tone right now.
Yeah.
And it was a good move. I'm trying to remember the D-tackle's name.
Poor guy.
But, I mean, look, he obviously wasn't, big enough. I mean, he just wasn't a big enough guy. But Jalen Sundell, I mean, he's pretty stout, but he's a shorter guy. But I like his versatility, and that's the other thing. He's just smart. I mean, you can't undervalue that.
Yeah. Olu's not a big dude, though, either. Isn't he considered a bit undersized for that spot?
I don't know. I mean, I think he's probably a little bit under 300, but I think what Olu needs is somebody to piss him off. I mean, I think that's what, and I think Ray Roberts will tell you the same thing, that he just, and I'm not talking about cheating or, being a cheap shot or anything like that. It just needs to get himself in a bad mood and just kind of, try to find a way to just really lean into that. I mean, I think he's talented and they like what he brings to the table, but he's also a guy that was hurt for quite a bit. So I think that affected him. And then Bradford, to me, is just, I think this guy, his upside is tremendous, but can they get him focused? Can they get him playing?
That's going to be interesting to watch, because I feel like you and I had been on an island in talking about him being maybe the most physically dominant individual on that line, potentially, if he could be consistent. I mean, he's got so much to work with, and anytime we would speak about him in that way, we would get text after text going, he stinks, you got to get somebody better, he's not good, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's just, there's a perception of him out there that needs to be changed, and he doesn't have much slack, I don't think, with the fan base.
No, but, I mean, they were right.
Yeah.
He wasn't good. And the reason why is because he just, wasn't focusing. He wasn't finishing. I mean, remember in the preseason asking the offensive line coach about that. And, he said, yeah, that's what the problem is. I would tell you that he's the most dominant player. And this was Scott Huff, I think. Or no, it was Ryan Grubb. It was the offensive coordinator. And he was saying, look, I would say this guy's the most physically talented guy. And that's when I really started looking at him. That was down in Tennessee. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, my God, he just barely touches somebody and they fall down. And, I mean, he's just incredibly powerful. But it's no good if you can't do your assignments. And that's why I value guys like Joey Hunt.
Do you think his leash is short with Coach Macdonald?
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, Mike's not going to stand for that. And we know that he doesn't sit around on his hands and go, well, maybe we can give him in a couple of weeks and see what happens. No, it's like right now. At least that's what I've learned from Macdonald. I mean, it seems like that's what's going on there. But I like this offensive line, and I like the fact that Zabel and the center played together. I have to say that looking at Gray Zabel during the preseason, if you were to go off of that and look at some of the things that he's done, you might see a couple of rookie moments, but you also might think that's your best offensive lineman.
Yeah. Maybe he ultimately will be.
Yeah.
I'd prefer my best O-lineman be the left tackle.
Yeah.
But,
I think he's close, but I mean, I don't know. Gray Zabel just does some unbelievable, things you can't coach.
Yeah.
Basically. So, but yeah, I mean, I like it. I think it's nice that we're talking about Olu because Look, that's one position that needs to get locked down. We look at the history, and you've talked a lot about tight end and how there hasn't been that dominant tight end. I think we have that guy right now with A.J. Barner. But, yeah, same thing with center. I mean, really, it's going back to Max Unger when they had an actual, solid.
Britt.
Yeah, Justin Britt was, he was.
Did he make the Pro Bowl, or was he an
1
alternate?
year. He was an alternate 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was at center.
Yeah, that was the best he was. He was tackle to guard to center.
He got better as he went in.
Yeah, and then that was the best he was.
Yeah, so I mean, I just think it would be cool to have a nice lockdown center. It all starts with the center, and and certainly I think Olu can do it. It just he's had some injuries, and then again, I think he just needs to grab that position by the throat.
Well, Mike Macdonald was asked how they made that decision at center.
It's tricky because Olu was having a heck of a camp, probably playing his best football of his career before he got hurt. Jalen just took advantage of the opportunity, so they were still competing at the time. We felt like the way Jalen played against Kansas City really put him in a premium position to ultimately start the season at centers.
Yeah, I would say it's probably true for both of them in terms of the leash and how if they're out there messing it up. You're right. Coach Macdonald's not one to just sit there and wait it out.
Right.
Especially on the O-line where you make a mistake, your quarterback's getting creamed.
Right.
Or your running back's getting dropped in the backfield for a 4-yard loss. So those mistakes are much more punitive typically than, all right, my defensive tackle went this way, you're supposed to go that way. You can live with that more than your O-lineman doing an Olay there and somebody just a free runner in the backfield just pounding people.
Yeah. Well, and they're going to have a lot of plays where the pocket's moving and things like that to help the offensive line out. I mean, Gray Zabel said this is an offensive lineman's dream, this offense. So, by the way, I'm looking at Joey Hunt right now. It says that he was 6'2", 299. No
way.
Chance.
Oh, both of those are wrong.
I might weigh more than Joey Hunt right now than he did when he was playing. So,
and he wasn't 6'2".
Yeah, probably not. But, I mean, guy was as smart as a whip. Man.
Yeah.
He knew everything. And I remember during, like, a preseason game, they just, they don't have a tackle. Oh, yeah, I'll play tackle. And he actually played well. But, yeah, that I think that's what Jalen Sundell brings to the table.
Yeah. Before we get into Mariners conversation, just one more. Wide receiver number 3, Tory Horton. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I think a lot of people saying he could be the steal of the draft. I mean, the guy was drafted in the 5th round, pick number 166 out of Colorado State, 6'3", 185 pounds. We talked to him.
Yeah.
I mean, and the other thing about him is that, they kept receivers who can block. And like I said yesterday, I think JSN could be your best blocker. He really is talented, and he's not the biggest guy. Well, I always talk about him, and I think I brought this up about Michael Bennett asking him in the production meeting, like, well, you're not that big and you're not that fast. And like, what, why? Because I had the same question.
Is that how he said it?
Sort of like in a long, and I was like, thank you.
Nothing really physically special about you.
Yeah. And I was like, thank you, Michael. Because that's what I wanted to say. And, but you look at, if you watch him block, man, he's ferocious. So yeah, these guys.
What was his response?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I think he just talked about, reading defenses. And one of the things I kind of discovered just from going back and watching like a highlight tape of him and stuff is that he logs in his brain when he's running his route where the defenders are really well. So when he turns around, and not every pass is, him catching it and turning around, but you can see he knows when to get down. He knows what side a guy is on, and he's got a special talent that way. So I think that's part of it. And that's just mostly his run after catch, but he runs really good routes and he's got great hands. So I mean that's pretty much all you need. But yeah, Mike was asking him kind of in a roundabout way, and I was like, "Thank you, Bennett."
You're not that big.
I wanted to say the same thing, but yeah. So I think all of these guys, the characteristic is going to be that they're able to block.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for week 1. It's coming up September 7th, first game of the season, and we'll see what they look like. There are reasons to be optimistic based on what we saw at a preseason, but now you're scheming. Now you know who you're going up against, and it counts. Yep. And it's the 49ers right out of the gate. And they got a couple of former Seahawks there.
Yeah, Trey Brown starting at least their depth chart the way it is right now, and I'm not sure if that's set in stone, but he's their nickel.
Yeah, Trey Brown and MVS.
Yeah.
They're sharing secrets with the enemy now.
There you go.
They are the enemy now, is what they are, Dave.